Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest. And today we are going to do a quick reading for something that seems to be lost. And that something is humanity's freedom. Okay? So that is what this layout is. Grand tableau, and it is looking for a missing object or something missing. And I've laid them out already after setting the intention that the key card and the woman card, the key card is freedom and the woman card is humanity. So that was pre-charged. Okay. Then the cards were shuffled. Again, pre-charged as humanity. Then the cards were shuffled really well. In fact, I swirled them around on the table and then picked them up, shuffled them some more, and then laid them out in the grand tableau and waited to see where they came up. Normally I would do this on film, but it does save time that you don't have to watch me fast forward and lay them all out. So anyway, as I said, we're looking for a missing object, and that missing object is humanity's freedom. So, as it laid out, we can see that the key is right here. Looking directly at the key is the humanity card. How exciting is that? That's so exciting. The other card that is extremely important in this missing object layout is the mouse card or the mice card. The reason for this one, normally this is not that great of a card. Okay, it's not considered a real great card. However, in a missing object reading, you want that as close to humanity as possible. Okay, so in this case, as we've learned before, here are the very near cards to humanity. It's the encircling area around. Those are very near. Anything on the outside that's still touching these, okay, is considered near. Everything from there is considered far or very far. We are not concerned with the very far since we have our mouse card here. This mouse card, if it's far away, means you might as well kiss whatever you're looking for goodbye because it's not coming back to you. In the near or very near, it's coming back to us. So the freedom that humanity is looking for is returning to us. That's really exciting because it's been taken piece by piece from us. Okay, so let's just look into this a little bit more. How things started, which is the garden card. That's with all of us getting together and having fun and doing all the things that we normally would do out in the open, out in public, whether it be summer, winter, fall, it doesn't really matter. We just got together whenever we darn well pleased. And then suddenly, where we were committed, this is the ring, we were committed to one another, suddenly we had to figure out what exactly we were committed to. Humanity and how. This is also a repeating cycles card, so many of the things that have taken place have happened before. Commitment has been questioned here. And not necessarily in, what do you want to say, a bad way, but not in the way that we need to hang on to our humanity. Okay? So then we had lots of chatter and still have lots of chatter about everything that is going on. Okay, lots and lots of chatter, and not necessarily in a good way. If you've ever seen birds squabbling over birdseed, that's kind of the way it is. Should we have freedom? Should we not have freedom? And there are those birds who are more than happy to scavenge for their own food, and there are other birds who would rather have someone else feed them. Then we come to the letter, which is basically a document, okay? And it is a battle over that document. Now that very well could be our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution. Those things are very important to freedom. And that's kind of where the squabble lays. It's whether or not these should continue to be something that rules how we behave, what we do, okay? So, started out very social. Started out with, what appeared to be lots of freedom. Suddenly there is news that comes in. And that news was something that, and I'll let you play with that because there's been so much and so much untruth to so much that's out there. But again, it made everyone squabble. It created so much chatter. So as we can see, we have the freedom card, humanity looking at the freedom, because it's what the majority actually desire. We have the stork looking at the mice, which, as we said, the mice is, as long as it's close by, it means we're going to find that object we are missing. But change is required. Change is absolutely necessary to bring the freedom back. So it's time to take this seriously. There could be some changes needed, for those specific documents, but they've lasted a long time to some degree. But we need to, really take a serious look at those. And we can't just be committed, remember what we said, committed to the man. Well, that has kind of called itself. When we say the man, we all know who the man is. It isn't humanity. So we need to take a really good look at those documents. And not just be committed to the man, we need to be committed to humanity and humanity's freedom. So if we go along this line here and this line here, let's take a look here. So we have the child. Okay, so that's very important family card. And the message that came in affected the child or the family and humanity. And the man here is trying to take over. But as you can see, all of this is weighing down on the man, which means that battle is being lost. This is coming back to us. Okay? Now, as we said, we've got freedom, we've got humanity, we've got change. We need to change. Something needs to change to make sure that that comes back to us the way that we want it to. We then have the ship, which is about movement. Movement toward the right direction. This is where the focus should be, and this is the stars card. It's like a GPS. This is where we need to be. This is what we need to focus on. But to keep that journey moving forward, we have to recognize the fox the manipulation that is taking place, the untruths, the sneakiness, the slyness, the deceit. We have to recognize the snakes in the grass. And if we recall from, I believe it was last week's reading, the snake indicates well, what's a snake do? A snake bites, puts toxin in the body, a lot of toxins in the body. And it does it by biting you. It's like a poke. You get my meaning there. So we need to realize what that poke is doing. It's like the snake bite. It is toxins put into the body. And as you see here, we have the scythe. The scythe is a tool for harvesting, okay? So it's also showing us that much of our food has been made toxic. Many things that we deal with on a regular basis now is full of toxicity. It has been planned in that way. So what we really want to see is the return of this freedom. And it does show that here we are going to be beginning that process. And again, these two cards that show the bad are slowly going off the board. Consider the ring as the cycle. Here's the cycle, okay? It goes in a circle, goes in a circle. And so this is sent off the board, and this continues going across. So at least for a while, we will have our freedoms back again. Now, probably what many are thinking is, when is that going to happen? And it is difficult to do timing within a reading of this sort, because timing doesn't always end up being exact, because any one thing can change our timeline, I guess you could say. However, I'm going to shuffle up this deck of cards here. It's another Lenormand deck. Shuffle it up, and we're going to look for the Freedom card again. And we're going to see what card is on the left and the right side to see if it will give us any indication what time period we're looking for all this to take place. All right, so we're going to flip this over, and we're going to look for the key card here. There's the key card right here. And the card on the left is the heart. The card on the right is the cloud. So this is what we have here. And the key card is just a significator for freedom. So the only cards that we're really interested in are these two. And as you can see, the key is pointing towards the heart. So the freedom, that's in our hearts. That's hugely in our hearts. And right now it is showing that there is a cloud over that. But what do clouds do? They just pretty much block out the sun, make it difficult to see clearly. So that is part of the message here, is that we need to remember and see clearly what this freedom means to us. Pull that back into our hearts. That's what the key looks like it's trying to do, is to suck the heart back into the freedom. So let's see if we can determine the timing. So according to the heart, timing-wise, that would be around Valentine's Day of this coming year. It's almost like a gift to the heart, okay? However, it could take anywhere between now to, say, June of 2022 to have everyone be able to see clearly what needs to happen to make sure that that freedom comes back in full force and that this goes off the other end. So I know that was a short reading. However, I thought it was really important to see where freedom stood for all of us, because it seems like that's been quite the issue chattered about, whether it's okay to be free or not to be free. And as I said, there are many out there who, have no issue being fed rather than, scavenging for their own food. And there's others who prefer to find their own or forage for their own. Here's the document of importance, connected immediately to freedom. Also, everything that we had before all of this took place is right here. So we have social, outdoors, fun, freedom, and that document, those documents that give us those things. And that's what humanity is looking at. So I find that exciting. Hopefully this reading has boosted your spirits, and we will see you again next time. Take care.